All right, peace and love, world. Welcome to an episode of Conversation with Zoe. Um, this one is definitely going to be a little different, but for those who have been day one with Conversation with Zoe, you're going to know that this is how we started. It wasn't as beautiful as this camera. It was my iPhone 7 at the time or my iPad, and we just got it rocking. You know what I'm saying? So definitely shout out to Natural Born Brand, the sponsors. Everybody that is supporting the show, please make sure you like, subscribe, comment. We just passed 11,000 subscribers, so we got a lot of motion. And speaking of motion, there's been a narrative floating around lately in different spaces because I'm in education, I'm in a nonprofit space, I'm also in the podcast space. So a lot of people feel like that me working with the youth has a lot to do with personal gain or notoriety and things like that. And people think that maybe I do things for clout sometimes, right? But that's not really a thing for me. Like I understand that as Black and Latinos, we may think that something is always for something. But the way my mind operates is that's not true for me because I would not be here if I didn't have all these great people in my life that were there along the journey. And for them, that was their job, but they overextended themselves to see me be someone. So for me, I'm only just trying to pay that forward. So all of these cool things that are coming into fruition. And shout out to Manny Maldonado and Chosen Basketball, Chosen Hoops. Um, I feel like I'm the chosen one. And he was explaining to me the other day something about stewardship and when you're a steward. And that's God trusting you with his resources and God giving you the resources to do certain things. And I feel like even the people I've met here at WTF Media Studios, that's a part of something God has entrusted me with, to push the message forward, to not only get to know certain people who you could say are in government, finance, celebrities, basketball, whatever it may be, but to be able to now bridge the gap back to education. I feel like my fame, even though this podcast pushes me more, it gets me out there. I'm in the internet every day. I'm in your face, going viral a whole bunch of times. I've impacted my community with positive content. Sometimes a little spicy, but still good nonetheless. I feel like when I become a councilman or mayor of New York or borough president of the Bronx, I feel like that's when we're really gonna see like, oh yeah, like he's really him. You know what I mean? But I feel like this is just me monetizing my hobbies, doing things that I'm passionate about, being able to show the youth like you can have a job that you love and also do your hobby after school. So just like kids do things after school, adults we do things after work. And that doesn't always have to pertain going to the bar, turning up and things of that nature. It could really be, you seeking another income, or just simply doing something that you're extremely passionate about. Right. So that's enough about the clout stuff. You know what I'm saying? I've been him and I was him before I got to that school. And that's a fact. Dinosaurs in education, right? A lot of how things are and how things are going with the youth. From drill music to education to how they learn to how they consume information. It's up to us to find a new way. We're kind of just, doing it the way it's always been done, right? And tradition is great. And part of tradition is morals and principles and character and all these other things, right? But us as the educators, us as the adults, trying to lead these young men and women to be the next doctors and politicians and scientists and architects and business owners, we have to find a way to deliver, right, the content, the work, the lesson in a way that they're able to digest it. So maybe some videos, maybe some visuals, maybe some, be more in tune with what they like. Like, we got to stop looking down on things that we don't necessarily agree with, right? Like the drill music, right? Find the why. Because at the end of the day, it is a lot of those children's reality, right? It's reality rap for them. May not be for you, but it is for them. So one thing I've noticed is if you think you're here, right? This is some educators that I've seen. If you think you're here and the people that you teach are here, you're never going to be able to uplift them because you're always going to clash, right? Because you see these people as less than and you see yourself as more. So how could you really uplift someone that you look down on? Because they're looking up at you and you're looking down at them, right? And that goes to almost every relationship where it comes to law enforcement, educators, principals, anybody in a higher position. We have to find ways to have positive encounters with people. You know what I'm saying? With the youth. You know what I mean? So every time you see a cop playing basketball with the kids, it goes viral, right? But that should be a norm. You know what I'm saying? We do have the police athletic league, right? So maybe we got to get the PALs popping. I need to see PAL content every day, every weekend. You know what I'm saying? Flag football, softball, baseball, volleyball. We got the kids. We just got to give them the spaces and the places to be great, right? And consistently do that. Summer is coming. Y'all got to chill the fuck out. You know what I mean? It's getting warm. It's been in the 80s a few times. I understand, maybe the heat or the warm weather, people get a little more irritable, but it's never that serious to now it gives us the green light to start causing harm to each other. I made a little video the other day, and one thing that people commented and stood out to me was that when I said that y'all look just alike. You know what I'm saying? The person that you hunting and trying to run down on and spin the block on looks just like you. So us black and brown boys in these neighborhoods, we all have similar hair texture, and our parents are similar complexions, and we all have so many similarities and things that we have in common that we're not ops. We brothers. You know what I'm saying? Y'all niggas not ops. Y'all brothers, right? So I want everybody to have a fun and safe summer. I want people to be selective with who they hang out with, right? Because you could inherit beef, right? You could be around people and the beef is not yours, but because you're around those people, hey, you know what I'm saying? Now by default, you gotta spin because you with all of them, right? Be selective with your events. Not every function is for you, and that's totally okay. You know what I mean? Leaving at an appropriate time, that varies for people depending on how you getting home too. You know what I mean? If your Uber funds is popping, then go right ahead. But to be honest, there's nothing good that's gonna happen after 2 a.m. It really isn't. You know what I mean? Go out early, have your fun, see your people, get your ones and twos, get something to eat and drink, and go home. We don't have to, party till the sun comes up. Those times, those hangover times are over. Like, I'm glad that I'm not in that space no more of being outside and getting drunk and going, you know what I mean? Because it's not safe no more. I mean, we saw what happened in the Bronx a couple weeks ago to the young woman walking home, who the man put the belt around her neck and, took advantage of the woman. And it's like she has the right to be wherever she wants, whenever she wants. But as, Hassan Campbell says, it's safe to say it ain't safe outside. You may have to play close to home, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe your light bill is going to be a little higher because, what happened to the summer when we was watching Power on Saturday night? You know what I mean? Turn the AC on, order a little food, have everybody over because, all of these park functions and people are proving that, they just can't conduct themselves. Or maybe just change your surroundings. Maybe, go up to Westchester, go other places, you know what I mean? And, invite 3-4 people and go somewhere else. Because obviously, where we're accustomed to being, it ain't good for us, especially if you got a lot going on. You know what I mean? So, what's next? Man, this is going to be episode 197 or 198, depending on how things go editing-wise. We're almost at episode 200. You know what I mean? So, we're knocking on that door of another milestone. I'm extremely proud of everything I have going on. My podcast birthday was April 26th, so 6 years in the making, and we're finally, not finally, but I've had some motion for I would say like a good 2 years now that we really been pushing and pushing and pushing. Um, I think I'm just gonna continue what I'm doing, but also just uh, be more selective. Like I'm not really chasing interviews anymore like I used to because I don't really have to. I've gained a little more leverage. Shout out to my brother Art, who told me like, yo, like you got to stand on what you stand on. Like you can't be waiting around for these artists and these guests forever, and you just got to cancel. You got to have the balls to cancel, as he said. So I think the next 100 or however many episode God grants me, um, we're just gonna remain intentional. We're gonna give you fire content. We're gonna have great people on here. I want to dive a little more into politics. Hopefully we get the borough president of the Bronx here. Hopefully we get Councilman Riley up here. People that I have ties with, and just continue to see where it goes. Continue to connect with people. Be outside, but be outside with a purpose. Assuring that every time I leave my house or my kids or whatever it is I'm doing, is to push the brand forward. Make sure that I'm doing right. You know what I mean? So definitely stay tuned. Make sure you guys continue to like, subscribe, comment, and stay tuned with your boy. I want to talk a little bit about expectations. And I feel like what people expect of you um, sometimes isn't fair because now when you want to have expectations of them, now all of a sudden they're backpedaling. And I know the dating world is crazy nowadays, but why are we becoming so entitled to other people's things and other people's belongings? Like that person gets up every day and does what they have to do. He or she has to do to provide for themselves. So whatever their lifestyle that they're able to provide for themselves looks like is their business, not yours. Now, the person decides to take you out for a good time. Why should we have to go to STK or Roof Chris the first date? Right? Why should I have to spend so much money on a person that doesn't even care whether I got to work on time today or did you eat today? You know what I mean? Like, you're not invested in me, right? You're just willing to partake in this free meal that comes with free drinks and hopefully leads to something. But our expectations should only build once we start matching each other's energy. But I shouldn't walk into any situation assuming that that person owes me anything and I'm entitled to anything that they worked hard for, right? So, hey, don't be afraid to work hard. Don't be afraid to get that second job. Don't be afraid to keep your head down for a few months, stack your bread, pay off a few credit cards, pop back out a better version of yourself. You guys want to be so like social media for me is networking. So I don't really look at it like everybody. Social media was made for networking to keep us connected, right? And that's how this platform has grown from me connecting with people, networking and collaborating. And that's how this all come full circle. From one of my first interviews with my guy Tone, who's doing the stock options. Then, we go to my guy Pierre, my brother, he's an R&B singer. Then we go to Overtime Larry, who he is, one of the founders of Overtime, ran that up. Now he's an actor, influencer, doing tons of stuff out there. And then it keeps going, King Tone, P, Jim Jones, Dice Peso, Alvial, Cassidy, DNA. Shout out to DNA, man. Shout out to Wallow, man. That was pretty dope. This week, Wallow actually posted my content that of DNA when he says, unfortunately, not everybody's gonna figure it out. So that was pretty dope, man. That Wallow saw my content, and I love that y'all don't play about me. I didn't have it watermarked. This was episode 145, so it's crazy. It's literally 49 episodes ago, and I didn't have that watermarked. So I love that y'all saw it. immediately started tagging me, sent it to me, and put me on that. Wallow posted it, so a lot of people say like, yo, why he ain't tag you? Why he ain't this? Listen, y'all worry about all the wrong things. He didn't post it and say it was his. He posted it to spread the message that DNA was giving that day. It was a Monday. We putting out positive vibes. We understanding that sometimes our blessings are being blocked by the people that we surround ourselves with. You know what I mean? And sometimes we may not get it because the people around us are undeserving. So maybe we are deserving and we're ready for our blessing, but because we have ties and we sharing energy with left and right, then it's not happening for us. So I definitely am extremely grateful for everybody that popped out and shared. And shout out to Wallow. Open invite. Hopefully we see you up here someday. You know what I mean? Family and money. Two things that should mix, because I think depending on the culture you're in and how you were raised and the morals that you were instilled in from young, family-owned businesses are the way to go and are thriving. There's families with tons of bodegas across New York City in almost every single borough. But for somehow, some way, we can't do right by our family when money's involved. And I'm not going to get into it too much, but, my older brother and I are odds, and I think he thinks I'm trying to get over on him and play him, but I don't think he understands that I'm trying to do business on a corporate level, and he's just used to doing nigga business. Like, that's how I see it. Like, and I've told you guys about the car situation and all that stuff. I won't get into it because I don't want him to feel no kind of way, but I am your little brother. We should always be able to sit down as men and have a conversation with no animosity. We should also be able to hear each other out and understand where we could have done better, or maybe somebody misinterpreted what was said or done. But all I know is that everything you needed from me, you got. And on paper, right, because that's where the corporate side comes in. On paper, this is my problem, right? Geico clipped me from having insurance with them because they said that I had too many accidents in my name. Now, I won't say the amount, but I've only been into one accident as myself, as Lorenzo Bernardes Jr. Now, there are multiple accidents that people have gotten in my name. So, in the world of nigga business, yeah, it's your fault. But in corporate America, right, Capital One or whoever's name is on this legal document, it is your problem to deal with. So credit score is back up above 700. Did a lot of work, spent a lot of money, building, taking things out, paying them off on time, and gradually just, moving myself in the right direction. Right? So people just think that they give you money and it fixes it, but you're still fixing all the other problems. You know what I'm saying? Defensive road tests, doing 8-hour courses to bring your, to be in better standings with insurance, building your credit back up, that went down over 200 points, and just trying to have your name, be in good legal standings, because credit is king, right? Street cred don't mean shit to JP Morgan or Capital One or TD Bank or any other brokerage. It doesn't mean anything. So that's why, even going back to working with the youth, like, this is not going to translate the way you think it will. You know, you being the big demon and all of this stuff is not gonna fly anywhere else. You know what I mean? Only in the hood they respect that you're an ooter, or or you're this or you're that. But when you wanna do something as simple as rent a car, right? You gotta have a credit card. And for yourself, I'm not saying anybody can go say, hey bro, do this for me, right? And that's nigga business, right? You can't, so you find someone who can. And then when you don't do right by them, now they're wrong. But you can't take full accountability that you didn't do right by them. And that they have to live with, your mistakes. And yes, it is my fault. I entrusted in my brother to help him. Like, he asked me for help and I helped him. That's it. Simple as that. That's my fault. He said, yo, I need you to do this for me. I did it. Now, I didn't know it was going to come with everything else that it came with. Like, pay the bills on time, do this on time, do that on time. Like, I didn't know that. But at the end of the day, I shouldn't lose my brother over trying to help him. Right? I shouldn't be at odds with my brother because, you know what I'm saying, he asked me for a favor and he fucked up. You know what I mean? On his end. And I'm, through the grace of God, financially literate and in tune, and I got people around me sharing information with me that this didn't hurt me as much as it would have hurt the average person. Right? A person that don't know nothing about credit and finances and isn't doing the education and isn't doing the reading and the research, this has ended a lot of people's like whole livelihoods. Like, because now you can't buy a crib, you know what I'm saying? You overpaying for car notes and et cetera, et cetera. Like, financially, legally, right? Not nigga business. This is a big no-no. And had it been 2-3 years later, I would have said no. But at the time, I was like, hey, like, what does it hurt to help you get a car, bro? And this segues to my last point of fatherhood and success. And I don't want to say sorry because I know that I'm chasing greatness. And I know that there's no infrastructure for anything that I'm doing, right? Because even when I was a teacher, I have a family member that's a teacher, and that person didn't want to help me, right? So the person with 20 plus years of experience that could have helped me didn't. So the way it floats on my end, in my family, is every man for themselves. Yeah, we cool, we kiki, and that's an exception. I gotta shout out to Titi Jessie. You know how I feel about you. You know I spin for you. I love you. Has always put on for the family. Has always created opportunity. Does very well for herself. Does a lot of beautiful things for the family, for her community, and she's just such a breath of fresh air. I love that woman. And she's always put me on. Like, she's always been the aunt that I wanted and needed. And thank God that I found it, you know what I'm saying? Because she would check me like, yo, bro. Like, it's crazy because she's old school. She's young, but she old school. And it's like, I didn't even curse around her like that. Like, I would apologize when I curse around her because of the level of respect I have for her. But she's always put me in my place. She'll laugh with me when I'm funny. And she'll check me when I'm like, yeah, that's not funny, bro. Like, I didn't like that. I didn't like that you made that move and you did this. But she's also mature enough to be like, you know what? I was wrong in that situation. And I could have been better in that situation. and I didn't have to talk to you like that. I could have treated I did wrong here, here, and here. You know what I mean? And that means a lot, because as a young man coming up, nobody's perfect, and we've all made mistakes. So I love her for that. And shout out to my Uncle Jay, man. That's my heart. That's the big bro. Just celebrated his 46th birthday at Record Room. Big shout out to Record Room, man. Long Island City, reserve your table. Great vibes, great R&B, old school, new school. You're gonna be dancing. You're gonna be drinking and dancing all night. Such a vibe. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the owner. You're gonna see him up here soon as well. So even when I'm at my uncle's birthday party, I'm networking, trying to find a way. You feel me? Even when I'm at prom with my students, and I see Vanessa Gibson, the Bronx Borough president, I gotta go talk to her. I'm gonna go say hello and introduce myself and tell her about my nonprofit and tell her about my podcast. I'm at the Bronx Children's Museum, and I ran into Councilman Kevin Riley, and I'm like, yo, bro, we got to do some community work together. So, and that goes back to the fatherhood and success. I'm a father of two beautiful boys, Hendrix and Lennox. Y'all gonna be able to see this content when y'all get older. My content will outlive me. I'm doing this because what I've seen in my experience, having an amazing father, right? Women and people and society, they're going to judge me by how y'all live when I'm no longer here. So while I'm here, I have to ensure that I exhaust all of my resources to make sure that y'all good. So when my mentor reaches out to me and is like, hey, I'm working at a top private school in the city. Do you want to send your boys? Do you want to work on that? Absolutely. So when my mentor he say, hey, come have lunch, I'm going to go to that lunch. I got to go to that lunch. I got to keep that relationship fresh. You feel me? I gotta go out there and let them know, like, yeah, energy still good, conversation still good, still could be a vessel, still could do things the way I can help you too. You know what I'm saying? You want to do some charity work, set up some pizza parties, go to some community events. I got you. Your kid play baseball. You want me to work out with them? I got you. You want to come on the pod, promote your business? I got you. So I'm creating the value on my end. So I'm never at nobody's mercy, but I can also bring value to them as well. And that's going to benefit my sons. So I know that I had a good upbringing. I was able to do some things through some great people that I met, but I know that I know more than my father about America, education, financial literacy, and I got that younger than him. Feel me? My dad at 31 was only here a few years before he was figuring it out. So it's only right that I got it sooner, so my sons have it sooner, and they can be greater, and they can be better, and I'm setting that expectation. So I know many times you look at me, my schedule is crazy, I'm here, I'm there, and that's why I don't want to say sorry, but I want to say I love y'all. And I overstand, and Daddy is working for this. Daddy wants this so bad for you. And me seeing, sometimes, and I don't want to say who specifically, but if y'all know how someone spoke about someone after they passed based off what they didn't leave. I never want somebody to ever fucking say that about me ever in my life. I please, like, I never want to be labeled a bum ass nigga a day in my life, or a has been, or a person that didn't leave no money or none of that. Like, I never ever want to be that. I got life insurance. I got stocks. Listen. If I know my sons are gonna live a better life. All they're gonna miss is my presence in the flesh. But I know my sons, when Daddy's no longer here, they're gonna be God. I'm saying, because they're gonna have a 501c3 they could work off of. They could keep this podcast thing going. They're gonna receive the top education that they could receive, because Daddy was able to get them in them doors. You know what I'm saying? This is no different from Carmelo Anthony and Cayenne and Bronny and his father. They got there. There was nobody before them. So I always give these first time business owner, athletes, anybody doing something extraordinary in your family, nobody did it most time, 9 times out of 10, nobody did that before you. So I'm giving y'all grace because we figuring this shit the fuck out. So episode 145, we ain't had no watermark on the content. You know what I'm saying? We was bubbling, but you know what I'm saying? We hit 1 million views before that. JoJo Simmons, 3.3 million views, P, and we still, you know, it's like, okay, cool. And then now we watermark everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes let it happen first. You know? Like, we're always playing defense, but just live life and learn as you go. And don't make the same mistake twice. You know, and even if you do, learn from it, adjust, write it down, and be better. But I'm not going to dim my light or slow down because I got to do it for them. I got to make sure that they good. And I know that the more that I put myself out there, the more comes back to me. All these community events and sneaker giveaways and pizza parties, people still, Slice of Excellence is still going because people are still donating. People are still believing in what we're doing, and we still impacting lives. And in 4 years, we've impacted over 5,000 children. So I just have to keep the same energy when it comes to y'all. I got to plan more stuff, more activities with y'all, and assure that y'all get the best of me because I'm giving everybody else the best of me. So my family shouldn't get anything less because I'm giving something else more. And I'm not going to get there without hard work. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody that's coming to me saying, hey, I got $1 million for you. But I know that I'm around too many millionaires to not be the next. You know, I feel like I've given all I could give, and I'm still giving, but I feel like the next chapter of my life is called wealth. You know what I'm saying? And that next chapter is assuring that I am setting up everything for the future, but also a certain level of a certain standard in the lifestyle that I want for my boys. And I know that they're gonna have. I had the best of the best. You know, I had very humble beginnings, but the better my father did, the better we lived. So I can't give my children nothing less than I ever had, and I had a lot, and I have a lot today, but I've worked for it, and I've dug my feet in the ground to build my foundation. So now I think by the end of next year, this house I'm building should have a roof. By the following year, we should have the windows, and you know, and figuratively speaking, you know, but everything has to be built, you know, and we have to understand that, you know, this first generation shit ain't for the weak, and mediocrity is a sin to me, and I'm gonna assure that I give them my absolute best. And I just don't want to be judged as a person that didn't provide, nor the person that wasn't present. So it's tough. But it's better now. So that way, as Art said, I can set my own schedule, right? I'm not at no one else's mercy. My guest didn't show up today. You know what I mean? So I don't want this show to just be great because you see everyone here, you know? But it started with me, and it's going to end with me. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment. Stay tuned. We got the Father's Day episode coming up soon. So shout out to all the fathers out there. Got some special things in the works going on outside the studio. But for all the graduates out there, I wish y'all the best of luck. Go to the school that gives you the most money because college is very expensive. Or if your family got it like that. But I think this is the time of year we start seeing that we should have spent less on Off-White and saved more for fucking college. You know what I mean? That's the shit that gets me. We got money for the bullshit. You know what I mean? That Don Julio is 90 in the warehouse, and we going to spend 450 on it in the club. But then books for college is 350, and we talking about that's a lot of fucking money. But you blew that last night. So I'm not here to judge, but if you asking me, or you around me, I'm gonna tell you that's some bullshit. I'm gonna tell you that you got to get your priorities together. I'm gonna tell you that you need to save for that rainy day, and I'm gonna tell you that you got to make sure your kids have the tools and the resources to be successful. Because if you in a good space, they should be in an even better space. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment, stay tuned. I love y'all, and we out. Peace.